Hello and welcome to another Doctor's Assistant 1 video. Today I'm doing another sort of random new news slash sort of vlog type thing. Or like, yeah, does vlog stand for video diary? Or something? I don't know what vlog stands for anymore. Anyway, or owl even. um, what was I gonna say? Yeah, this one's just gonna be a very random, rambling one, like the others, I suppose, or just like everything on this channel. Um, I've only been up for a little bit, so yeah, that's probably why it's quite rambling and raving and that. But yeah, I've been thinking about 60s Doctor Who quite a bit. Weirdly enough, I guess from the collection that I have, the very small collection of 60s Doctor Who stuff that I have, that I haven't seen, the two that really stand out to me, that I really want to take a deep dive, and I'll take the leap, as it were, to watching them. Probably an unearthly child, even though I know after part one, most people say it's pretty naff after that. And also the fact that, like, you know, it's kind of unnerving to me that, like, I consider myself obviously a big Doctor Who fan, yet I haven't even watched technically the first ever episode. And the invasion as well, the Pat Troughton story, you know, because I do actually quite like that design of Cybermen. I'd probably say top three off the top of my head today, at least. Anyway, change tomorrow probably. Likewise with the Daleks, definitely with the Daleks, my top three design Daleks would definitely change day by day, as would maybe my as I say, Cyberman design one. But as of today, as of the 15th of July 2021, I would probably say like Earthshock Cybermen design, then probably Revenge Cybermen design, and then maybe Invasion, or maybe even, I don't know, like, oh actually no, not Revenge second, Earthshock design, then maybe the updated 10th Planet design, and then like, as I say, Invasion like third. I'll swap them three around order wise, but those three would definitely be up there in my humble opinion. But yeah, I think they're just so sort of simple yet effective, you know, like you've got a lot less on the chest unit, and likewise with the head as well, like the sort of handlebars are quite super thin, although that is quite annoying when it comes to action figures, because depending on how you're storing your action figures, those can easily break on the action figures, so that's a bit annoying. But yeah, and it's kind of cool that they've got like their own like laser sort of weaponry gun sort of thing and that, and I guess that comes back around in by the time you get to like Earthshock and Spearhead. Although I guess it's kind of cool. Well, not cool, but like definitely unique by Revenge when they've kind of got like those guns in their heads. So, because it's just like in my mind and in my own head, I like that because it's like they're just so sort of technologically advanced that their weaponry is just on their person, so like you wouldn't be able to steal them and do what they do in Earthshock, which is steal their guns and that. Doctor Who Chronicles sort of thing, magazine thing. First one of these that I've ever got. It's of course of the 1975, going over like super in depth about that year in Doctor Who and that. And I just love this sort of really cool sort of silver design and that. And as I say, it's the first one that I've ever got of these. I wish I'd picked up the previous one, which went over like some sort of 1960s Who and that, because it's ironic because one of the staff at Specialist Awesome Service where I go at the moment, it usually always mentions about, like, whenever they mention about Doctor Who, it always just so happens to be about 62, and I'm always like, yeah, problem is, I don't always know a lot about 62, because, as you can see, I've only got, like, a handful of stories. I've also got the 10th Planet, and I've got the War Games as well, because I've got them in, like, the Regenerations box set, which is all the way over yonder. But yeah, there's also like Time and the Rani as well, I think, in that box set that I would really like to watch at some point. That's a good fun watch, I guess, or might be anyway. there's a blue dinosaur. But yeah, I'm surprised whilst I was at one of my friends, Michael's, I'm surprised he didn't make me, where we watched, I'm surprised we didn't watch, like, The Leisure Hive, because it's a Tom Baker story, and also a story that I've not watched yet, but he really loves, even though I know the main consensus is that it's a pretty crap story, but as I say, he very much insists that he, as I say, loves that story, so yeah, there is that. And it's of like sort of the tail end season 18, and I'm pretty sure he also really likes the season 18 costume, which I don't hate. I just think it's not very Tom Baker slash it's not very the Fourth Doctor. When I think of the Fourth Doctor, I think more of that sort of look, as opposed to season 18 personally. I mean, I like it because it goes with his more somber asshole like nature of season 18. But I don't like it because it's not as sort of flamboyant and as eccentric and as out there and as I don't know. I think it'd be interesting to find, and I don't know if anyone's ever done this, and if anyone hasn't, I hope one day someone does. But it'd be interesting if someone could do like a fan edit of some of the season 18 episodes, some of the really, really distinctive season 18 episodes that are like quintessentially that season, and like edited somehow, like the season 12, season 13 sort of purple sort of jacket slash the red sort of velvety sort of crushed or red koi jacket, and the colourful scarf and the fedora, like that costume and look, like edit that somehow onto Tom in that season and just see if it actually works or not. But yeah, I haven't got very far in reading this, so it's a lot denser than I anticipated. It's like something like 114 pages. So, but yeah, I'm definitely gonna check that out on Saturday. I'm probably just gonna try and binge read through that. I'm not very good at reading. Spoiler alert: I'm dyslexic, so that's always fun. What else? Mentioning like designs of monsters, I'd love for them to do like an updated design of like the Daleks. Like, don't get me wrong, the bronze ones are like my babies at this point. Like, they're iconic for a reason. But we've had them in like the pretty much all of modern Who. Like, that's like 15 plus years, I think. Maybe 15 going on, maybe even 16 years now at this point. Even I'm like, wow, we kind of need to change it up, guys. Just a bit. It's a bit much. I think maybe even just like have that design, but like have it silver and baby blue or something, like the 1960s Who Daleks or something. Or do what the Dalek Executioner looks like from Time Lord Victorious, and do like a black, silver, red design Dalek. That could be really cool, and that, I think with Revelation, the newest episode of the most recent episode of Doctor Who of this recording, I think it tried to have its cake and eat it. It tried to have new Daleks, but also the older Daleks, so people didn't shit themselves, because we all know what happened. I'm looking at you, Victory of the Daleks. We all know what happened last time they tried to introduce new Daleks, so yeah. Was gonna try and watch Avengers, the original, the first one, yesterday, before going to bed, but it's just too long a film, and it would have been nearly 12 o'clock before I went to bed, or maybe even after 12 o'clock, so I was just like, I'm going to be a sensible boy and not watch it. But yeah, it's just weird, because it's like, I know the first Avengers film probably isn't the best film ever, but like, for me personally, it holds a special place in my heart, as cheesy as I used to say out loud, because like, I watched it with a bunch of friends who, I'll be honest, these days I don't see anymore really, and people that I knew since sort of primary school all the way through nearly the end of secondary school. And so there's a lot of emotional weight there, I suppose, and the fact that when you think about it, in retrospect now, because of Infinity War and Endgame, it's like that is such a big stepping stone slash chunk of the big MCU Marvel Cinematic Universe sort of saga, if you will. You know, it's the first big ensemble, big blockbuster sort of superhero movie. You know, ensemble team up movie, and it could have gone so wrong. You know, and I'm surprised Joss Whedon didn't get way more awards and stuff for that film. It just, I don't know, for me personally, as a fan, it just, of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, it just feels like one of those comfort movies, you know? I know a lot of people, as I say, probably don't like that film for whatever reason, but as I say, it just feels like a comfort film, you know? Like, it always seems to be on BBC One when it's around Christmas time. I don't always watch it then, but I just watch it at least once every couple of years, you know. It just, as I say, it feels like a big fun epic, for lack of a better term, epic film, but also kind of quite safe and nice. And again, it's weird to think there are quite a lot of plates spinning in that film, yet it just sort of works, and it all components fit together well, and that, you know, it really does feel like what I imagine the Avengers comics are like, but like on the screen. I know that seems really dumb and really obvious, but we were still in that, 2012, we were still in that, like, I still remembered, like, people saying about, like, there being a sense in the air that, this could easily stop working, or, like, older people being like, remember when, there was the Daredevil movie, or the other movie with, that was a sort of superhero movie, what was I going to say now? I was going to say something about Doctor Who, I think. Oh, I've totally forgotten. But yeah, there was like another thing. Big Finish said something about like comfort, Big Finish audio stories and that. And I guess for me personally, the two that spring to my mind are the two box sets that would probably be Dark Eyes 1 that I've listened to quite a few times now at this point. So that one just feels like, gives me this nostalgic feeling of like, like the equivalent of watching series 1 through 4 of New Who. Like, I just kind of know it quite well at this point. Like, I've listened to it enough times. I know quite a lot of the story beats, for lack of a better term. And it just feels like quintessential, like, Doctor Who on audio, like what I expect from Big Finish. And like, this is a lot more of a recent release, and I know a lot of people probably didn't maybe like this release as much as Dalek Universe, and I don't think it got as talked about online, which is a bit sad really for me personally, as a massive Ninth Doctor fan. But Ravages, I think it's not the best 3 stories ever, but I think that's the point. Like, Big Finish, they always start like a big series, like whether it's Dark Eyes or whether it's, well, originally that wasn't meant to be a series, but whether it's that or whether it's the, like, War Doctor Begins or Gallifrey Time War box set 1, they always try, for the most part, to set it as accessibly as possible and then go a bit more experimental, or, sort of throw a bit more, plot twists and curveballs and bigger names, or as I say, bigger sort of twists and turns as the story progresses, I think it's quite smart in that sense, because you don't want to go too ambitious or too big and too ambitious in terms of either your casting or your promotion or your or your sort of writers slash sort of hype of like, oh, we've got really big plot twists and stuff coming up, and then someone buys it and it's their first Big Finish audio box set, and they have no idea what's going on in the War Master, Only the Good, or fuck it, the Ninth Doctor Big Finish audio, or like Dalek Universe 1 or whatever, yeah, it was kind of funny as well, because like that friend that we were on about earlier, you also was very adamant that like the Dalek universe stuff's really, really good in that, and I don't doubt that. I saw a lot of people talking about how good it was, and how he thinks it's way better than any of the other Tennant stuff that Tennant's done on audio and that. And again, I think the point is that they always try to do the sort of more accessible stuff and then get a bit more experimental. I mean, just look at like the War Doctor box sets. Like the first one is quite sort of quite tame, I'd say, and quite a good jumping on point for new listeners, I'd say. But then by box set 2, 3, and definitely 4, they get quite a bit more sort of, for lack of a better term, timey-wimey and experimental and stuff. So yeah. And likewise with maybe even the 8th Doctor Time War box sets, which reminds me, I still haven't listened to the 4th box set of that, or even Gallifrey Time War box set, 4th box set of the Gallifrey Time War box sets either, so, which is a shame really, because I really enjoyed the last sort of 3. I mean, if I was being honest, I'd say probably 2 might be the weakest, but in my humble opinion, which seems to be a recurring theme with the Big Finish box sets, I always seem to not like the second one of 4 box sets, which is a bit weird. Hopefully that isn't the case with Dark Eyes 2, because I still haven't listened to that either. I got that back on my birthday. Oh, that's something that I was going to mention whilst I was mentioning about 60s Doctor Who. I cannot wait for Evil of the Daleks to come out. I'm really far behind in terms of like getting the Doctor Who animations. Hopefully the animated episodes of Doctor Who. Hopefully there are still DVD copies of like the Faceless Ones and Fury from the Deep, because I haven't got them. I really, 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 really cannot wait to get Evil of the Daleks. I will definitely be getting that when it releases, because it's a Dalek story and it's Pat Troughton, and I've heard nothing but good things about it, and it's 7 parts, and it's, I'm pretty sure, fully animated, I hope, and that, you know, and yeah, I can't wait, you know. It was originally filmed as though it was the last episode with the Daleks, you know, which is interesting, and it's the first and only second episode, I guess, in all of Doctor Who, if you can believe it, with the Dalek Emperor. So that means that the Dalek Emperor's only been in like 9 episodes, if you include like Bad Wolf Parting of the Ways as like a 2-parter. Although I guess technically he's not in Bad Wolf, so maybe Parting of the Ways, so like 8 episodes, you know, if you obviously have each part of Evil as a separate one. But yeah, very odd. I definitely think the Emperor should come back one day. And I have been thinking as well, along those lines, I wonder if and when Davros comes back in the series, like, if, say, he ever came back with, like, alongside Jodie Whittaker's 13th Doctor, would the BBC and or Chibnall have the balls to ever recast? Do you reckon they'd ever recast Julian Bleach? And if so, who the hell do they get? Because Julian Bleach is phenomenal in the role, I think. You know, and much like with the Bronze Daleks, he's just been Davros since the show's come back, so, you know, yeah, Evil would be awesome to get, and it's kind of insane to think, like, if we get Evil, then all we need is, like, the Highlanders, and I'm pretty sure we've got all of Season 4, which is Pat Troughton's first season, which is insane. I'm glad I've at least got Macra Terror on DVD, because of all the animated Troughton stories so far, which include Macra Terror, Theory from the Deep, and the Faceless Ones. Everyone seems to say that the Macra Terror is the best one in terms of animation quality and that, and that. So I'm glad I've got that one, and that. So I would be very interested to see what the animation quality is like on the other two, the Fury from the Deep and the Faceless Ones. So, talking about animated stuff, they're probably the main 2 TV shows I'm watching week on week, coming out, which is Rick and Morty Season 5, which is amazing, which goes without saying. I love that show. And then Star Wars The Bad Batch, which I hope only does have 1 season. I think 1 season of 16 episodes is great. Because if you have 1 season of Bad Batch, that means that, you know, if you started from season 1 of Star Wars The Clone Wars and went all the way through to the 4th season of Rebels, you'd have a total of 12 seasons worth of Star Wars TV shows to watch, or binge watch even, which is what I kind of really want to do when Bad Batch season 1's over. I really am tempted to just start from season 1 of Clone Wars and binge watch all the way from season 1 of Clone Wars all the way through to season 4 of Star Wars Rebels, because I've only ever seen sort of up to part way through, maybe even the end of season 2 of Rebels. I've never seen, I don't think, any of season 3 or 4 of Rebels. I've seen maybe even, not even half of season 2 of Rebels. I've seen bits and pieces of season 2. I've seen season 1 probably a bunch of times, like 4 or 5 times already, of Rebels. I've seen seasons 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe even 5 of Clone Wars. Never watched season 6 because that used to be exclusive to Netflix in the States way back when, before we didn't even really have Netflix over here in the UK. Then I watched season 7 when that came out on Disney Plus at the beginning of 2020, which feels like 100,000 billion years ago. And then obviously I'm watching season 1 of Bad Batch now, so that's kind of my weird patchwork watching of those shows. So as I say, when Bad Batch finishes, and hopefully, as I say, it is just the one season of 16 episodes, I'll binge watch. I'm like 90% wanting to just binge watch season 1 of Clone Wars all the way through to end of Star Wars Rebels. So yeah, it was just funny because as well, I remember my friend Michael being all like, "Oh, I don't have time to watch Clone Wars," and then or whatever, he made some comment about that, and it was just kind of funny to me because I was just like, and yet earlier in the day he was literally on about like all these movies he's been watching and all half watching, and I'm like, well, the time that you've spent doing that, you could watch Clone Wars, mate. like, you know, like you've spent it like elsewhere, which is fine. You know, it's your time. Do whatever you want as long as you're not harming yourself or anyone else. Like, I'm just not a big movie person myself, like, compared to him and other people. I don't know, I've always just preferred TV myself, and video games and comics, and just more intimate sort of storytelling things and that. I don't know, movies are just so, sort of, big and, you know, just sort of, I don't know, like, they're just not the same as TV shows, in my humble opinion. I've always preferred TV over film myself, but yeah, I'm gonna wrap this up because it's been a massively long video, stupidly long even, video. So yeah, thanks for watching, especially if you've got this far through the video. Thanks for watching. Please do comment, rate, and subscribe. Boop, 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 boop.